Welcome back, health warriors over 60. Today, I want to start with a simple question. Have you ever considered that the type of meat you've always believed to be healthy might actually be quietly harming your heart every single day? Most people think red meats like beef and lamb are dangerous. White meats like chicken and fish are safe, so they cut out beef from their meals. They stick to chicken breast and farmed salmon. They believe they're eating clean. They believe they're doing it right. But here's the truth. Many still feel tired. They still suffer from swelling, joint pain, high blood pressure, even after switching to a clean diet. The reality is, not all meats are created equal. Red meat isn't automatically bad. White meat isn't always good. What truly determines whether a meat supports or sabotages your health is not its color. It's the life behind it. How is the animal raised? What did it eat? And what form are you consuming it in? In today's video, we'll walk through the meats you eat most often: beef, pork, chicken, and fish, and uncover which ones are hidden medicine and which ones are disguised poison. Just a few minutes from now, you'll learn why industrial chicken might be worse than canned meat, why the wrong salmon could trigger silent inflammation in your body, and the surprising truth, how properly raised beef might be one of the most powerful superfoods for aging well. You've eaten meat your entire life, but today might be the first time you truly understand what you're putting in your body. For decades, we've been guided by a belief that felt almost like undeniable truth. Red meat harms the heart, white meat is safe, and fish is always good for you. That's what you saw on TV, what your doctor told you, what the health magazines printed in bold headlines. And so, you started to fear beef and pork. You avoided them like disease. You swapped them out for chicken breast, skinless turkey, and farm-raised salmon. But here's the problem. No one told you the truth. That the health of your meat has nothing to do with its color, and everything to do with how it was raised. A cow that roams freely on pasture, eats grass, and lives under the sun will produce a completely different kind of meat than one locked in a dark shed, fattened up on corn and soy. A chicken that forages outdoors, pecks at bugs, and bathes in sunlight is not the same as an industrial bird pumped with feed, grown fast, and slaughtered even faster. And salmon, wild caught from cold ocean waters, is liquid gold for your brain and heart. But farm-raised salmon-fed grains, dyed pink, and laced with toxins can actually fuel inflammation, distort your fat balance, and even carry traces of heavy metals. Now do you see, we've been oversimplifying a complex truth. We've divided meat into red and white, as if picking the right color would somehow protect our health. But the truth is this. The same beef can either heal or harm you. The same chicken can either nourish or destroy. The same salmon can either feed your brain or poison your heart. The problem isn't red meat versus white. The real issue is the system: how animals are raised, processed, and turned into what ends up on your plate. And in just a moment, you'll learn why a piece of chicken breast can contain fats more inflammatory than pork fat, and how the very clean foods you've trusted might be the hidden cause of your fatigue, pain, high blood pressure, and fading memory. Right now, you might be thinking, so what should I eat then? But don't jump to conclusions just yet, because in just a moment, I'll reveal the so-called healthy meat that contains pro-inflammatory compounds nearly as harmful as reused deep fryer oil from a fast food joint. And more importantly, you'll discover how eating the right kind of meat could help soothe your aching joints, sharpen your memory, and protect your heart, all without a single pill. Just 90 seconds from now, you'll find out the one type of meat that naturally fights inflammation, something even thousands of supplements have failed to do. After turning 60, many people start avoiding meat out of fear. Fear of fat, fear it might clog their arteries, fear it might raise cholesterol, or trigger a stroke. But here's the truth. Fat isn't dangerous if you understand it and choose it wisely. 1. Good fats. You've heard of them, but never really noticed where they are. You've been told avocados are healthy. You've heard olive oil lowers blood pressure and reduces inflammation. Both are rich in monounsaturated fat, the heart-healthy, brain-boosting kind. But did you know, beef, pork, even chicken and salmon also contain this golden fat? Beef, around 45% of its fat is monounsaturated. Pork, similar. Chicken, about 35%. Salmon, up to 40%. That means clean, naturally raised meat can be like olive oil in animal form. 2. Saturated fat, misunderstood for decades. This is the fat that's been blamed for everything. Clogged arteries, high cholesterol, heart attacks. But recent research from Harvard and Mayo Clinic shows saturated fat from clean, whole food sources has no direct link to stroke or heart disease. And more importantly, your body needs it to make hormones, to nourish your brain, to support memory and stabilize blood sugar. Here's how much saturated fat is in common meats. Beef, about 40%. Pork, around 35%. Chicken, 30%. Salmon, 20%. So don't rush to cut out all natural fats. The right amount heals, too much or the wrong kind hurts. 3. Inflammatory fats, the silent threat in your daily meals. This is the real villain in your food. Polyunsaturated fat sounds modern and healthy, but it comes in two forms. Omega-3, anti-inflammatory, great for heart and brain. Omega-6, essential in small amounts, but dangerous when overconsumed, and here's the danger. In factory farmed chicken, pork, and salmon, omega-6 levels are shockingly high. Industrial chicken, up to 30% of the fat is omega-6. Confined pork, 20 to 25%. Farm-raised salmon, nearly the same. Compare that to grass-fed beef, only 4 to 5%. Wild salmon, high in fat but with a perfect omega-3 balance. Science shows your body needs a healthy omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of 4 to 1. But with factory meats, this ratio jumps to 20 to 1, sometimes even 30 to 1. That's like eating reused fryer oil from a fast food chain every day. The result: chronic inflammation, joint pain without a clear cause, racing heart, shortness of breath, brain fog, poor memory, fatigue, sleepless nights. Bottom line, low fat doesn't always mean healthy. And white meat isn't always safer than red. The real question isn't how fatty is the meat. It's, where did it come from, how was it raised, and what kind of fat does it contain? Cholesterol. Just hearing the word is enough to make many people nervous. Your doctor sees a slight increase and says, cut the fat, avoid red meat, no more eggs. Take this pill. Have you ever been through that? We spent decades living in fear of cholesterol. Avoiding beef, avoiding eggs, avoiding butter. But the truth is far more complex. 1. Cholesterol isn't your enemy, it's the carrier of life itself. Cholesterol isn't some toxic fat clogging your blood. It's an essential building block your body needs to produce hormones, to create protective cell membranes, to help your body make vitamin D, to support memory, focus, and brain function. Without cholesterol, you'd feel weak, depressed, foggy, and even lose libido. So what's the real problem? Not cholesterol itself, but how your body processes it. 2. A reality check: meat types have similar cholesterol levels. You might be surprised to learn, minus 100 grams of beef, approximately 80 milligrams of cholesterol. Pork, chicken, salmon, about the same. That means, whether you're eating chicken or beef, the amount of cholesterol you consume is nearly identical. Even salmon, praised as a heart food, contains just as much cholesterol as beef. So why do we fear red meat but worship fish? 3. It's not how much, it's how well your body handles it. In a healthy body, dietary cholesterol is not harmful. The liver balances levels as needed. The digestive system eliminates the rest, but when the body is out of balance, insulin resistance, fatty liver, chronic inflammation, cholesterol starts going to the wrong places. It accumulates in arteries. It leads to damage and disease. So if your gut, liver, and blood sugar are healthy, you can eat cholesterol-rich foods without fear. 4. And here's the kicker: fish actually contains the most TMAO. You may have heard of TMAO, a compound linked to heart disease. It forms when gut bacteria break down choline from foods like eggs, meat, and fish, and the liver converts it into TMAO. Sounds scary. Here's the paradox. Fish, especially cold water fish, already contains TMAO naturally, and in far higher amounts than meat or eggs. Yet, people who eat fish live longer, have less heart disease, and lower inflammation. Why? Because TMAO itself isn't the cause, it's just a marker of gut imbalance. If your microbiome is healthy, TMAO does no harm. But if your gut is inflamed and your liver is struggling, anything you eat can become toxic. Bottom line, don't blame cholesterol. Don't fear eggs, red meat, or butter. Fear chronic inflammation that's silently damaging your body. Fear those low-fat, processed foods that spike omega-6 and fuel inflammation day after day. And coming up next, I'll show you the most dangerous fat imbalance of modern times, omega-6 overload. You'll see how factory-farmed chicken and pork can cause just as much inflammation as used fryer oil. And most importantly, you'll learn exactly which meats to eat each week, and which ones to avoid like poison. Ko mt luich bio kang aigy, via na kang ko via, kang ko mei, kang lamban no. Hang le la nuan nanguwu, mtcav memdn 10, cow khp, cow hide epivadum kaisi Alzheimer, tun na la, omega-6. There's one type of fat most people never pay attention to. It has no taste, no smell. It doesn't fill you up. Yet it may be the hidden cause of your joint pain, high blood pressure, brain fog, and even Alzheimer's disease. Its name is omega-6. 1. When does omega-6 turn harmful? To be clear, omega-6 isn't evil. Your body actually needs it in small amounts for tissue repair, blood clotting, immune response. The problem is, we're eating way too much of it. Our ancestors had a healthy omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of 2 to 1 or 4 to 1. Today, that ratio has skyrocketed to 20 to 1, even 30 to 1 in many people. And when that balance breaks down, silent inflammation creeps in, unexplained joint pain, fluctuating blood pressure, memory decline, irritability, depression, insomnia. 2. Factory-farmed chicken and pork, a surprising source of excess omega-6. Think only vegetable oil is high in omega-6. You're right, but that's just the start. Factory-farmed chicken, the lean white meat people rely on, can contain up to 30% omega-6 fat. Confined pork, 15 to 25%. Industrial beef, 10 to 20%. Farm-raised salmon, a bit lower, but still higher than needed. Where does all this omega-6 come from? From unnatural feeds, corn, soy, canola, instead of grass, worms, or seaweed what these animals are supposed to eat. The result, omega-6 levels shoot up. Omega-3 nearly disappears, and what you thought was healthy white meat is actually pushing your body into chronic inflammation. 3. Clean meat restores balance and calms inflammation naturally. On the flip side, if you choose grass-fed beef, pasture-raised pork, free-range chicken that eats bugs, not pellets, wild-caught salmon, you're giving your body the natural 4 to 1 ratio it was designed to thrive on. That means less inflammation, less pain, better blood flow, sharper memory, stronger vision, healthier skin. Why? Because these clean meats are higher in omega-3 and naturally balanced with omega-6. They nourish the brain, reduce oxidative stress, and slow aging on a cellular level. Bottom line, white meat isn't always better than red. Chicken breast isn't always healthier than beef ribs. Meat is just the packaging. It's the fat composition inside that determines whether it heals you or inflames you. And coming up next, we'll dive into 2 types of salmon, wild versus farmed. They may look the same on the plate, but their effects on your body can differ by over 500%. You'll discover why wild salmon is pure brain food, and why farm-raised salmon, no matter how expensive, could be silently draining your energy, inflaming your joints, and loading your body with toxins every single week. Salmon, to many, it's the ultimate symbol of health. That rich, pink-orange color, soft, buttery texture, easy to cook and delicious. People believe eating salmon means healthier hearts, sharper minds, and stronger joints. But here's what most don't know. There are 2 kinds of salmon that look almost identical, but inside, they couldn't be more different. One is a natural superfood full of healing nutrients. The other, if eaten regularly, can quietly trigger inflammation, store toxins, and undo the very benefits you expect. We're talking about wild-caught salmon versus farm-raised salmon. Wild salmon, the ocean's gift to your body. Wild salmon roam free in cold, pristine ocean waters. They swim hundreds of miles upstream. They eat plankton, seaweed, and marine life, not pellets. They live in balance with nature. These fish need no antibiotics, no artificial growth enhancers, And their flesh gets its vibrant pink color naturally from what they eat, not from food dye. Most importantly, they contain 4 to 5 times more omega-3 than omega-6. This golden ratio helps your body fight inflammation, protect your heart, fuel your brain, and slow down aging at the cellular level. Eating wild salmon is like receiving a gift from nature, not a product from a lab. Farmed salmon looks like fish, but no longer acts like one. In contrast, farmed salmon are raised in crowded cages. They don't swim freely, they don't eat naturally. Instead, they're fed cornmeal, soy, and vegetable oils, raising their omega-6 levels and slashing omega-3. Their natural color fades to a pale grayish-white, so producers add synthetic color dyes just to make the flesh look salmon pink again. Worse still, because of poor living conditions, these fish are prone to illness. So they're given antibiotics, sometimes regularly. Tests have shown that farmed salmon can carry residues of heavy metals, PCBs, and dioxins, all linked to inflammation, hormone disruption, and even cancer risk. Bottom line, they may look the same on your plate, but wild and farmed salmon differ by up to 500% in their impact on your health. One nourishes, one pollutes, one heals, one harms. As you've seen, not all fish is clean. A beautiful color doesn't mean it's healthy. And a high price tag doesn't always mean it's worth it. If possible, always choose wild-caught salmon, or consider sardines, herring, and mackerel. They're rich in omega-3, affordable, and far less likely to contain toxins. And here's something to always remember. When you eat fish, you're consuming an entire ecosystem, so choose a healthy ecosystem, and your body will thank you with strength, clarity, and resilience. Up next, we'll rank the most common types of meat, from the ones you should eat every week to the ones you should avoid like poison, so you can finally make confident, stress-free choices at every meal. After everything you've just learned about fats, cholesterol, omega-3, omega-6, and farming conditions, it's time to put it all together. No more confusion between red and white. No more judging meat by its color. From now on, we judge by its true impact on the body. Especially for those over 60, when the immune system weakens, healing slows, and inflammation becomes a daily threat. Here's a clear ranking from best to worst. Hash 1, grass-fed beef and wild-caught salmon, tied for the top spot. These are the gold standard. They offer high-quality, easily digestible protein, the ideal fat ratio to support anti-inflammation. Grass-fed beef is rich in CLA, a fatty acid known to fight inflammation, reduce fat buildup, and even help prevent cancer. Wild salmon is packed with EPA and DHA, essential for brain health, heart protection, and vascular support. Together, they are true nourishment in a world full of artificial foods. Pasture-raised chicken and naturally raised pork, if raised the right way, without cramped cages, soy-based feed, or industrial additives. These meats are still good protein sources, but be mindful. They carry higher levels of omega-6 than grass-fed beef or wild fish, so eat them in moderation. Stick to leaner cuts, choose trusted sources, and vary your meat throughout the week. Farm-raised salmon. Yes, it scores lower due to poor farming practices and elevated omega-6. But if wild salmon isn't available, this is still acceptable if balanced carefully. It still contains omega-3 south, just less, if you choose farmed salmon. Pair it with leafy greens, avocado, or olive oil to offset inflammation. Limit intake to once or twice a week. CAFO meats, industrial beef, pork, and chicken. These animals are raised in confinement, fed unnatural diets, often exposed to antibiotics, and carry distorted fat profiles. They promote inflammation, metabolic disorders, and hormonal imbalance. Use only if necessary, and only from verified clean sources. Processed meats, sausages, cold cuts, deli meats, canned meat, fried chicken, fish balls. These are the true culprits behind chronic disease. Packed with preservatives, filled with soy fillers, sugar, coloring agents, often deep-fried in reused oils. At this point, it's no longer meat. It's a chemical product shaped like food. And that's the real danger, not red meat itself, but meat transformed by human hands into a source of inflammation, toxicity, and slow breakdown. In our final segment, I'll guide you through simple, memorable rules for choosing meat wisely. So from now on, every meal becomes a healing opportunity, not a hidden health risk. Let food become your ally again, especially in these golden years when every bite matters more than ever. After everything we've unpacked today, you might be asking yourself, so, what should I actually eat, and what should I avoid? How do I make the right choice at the supermarket, the farmer's market, or a restaurant? Here's the good news: it doesn't have to be complicated. If you remember just 5 simple rules, you can turn every meal into a powerful step toward healing and longevity. 1. Choose meat from animals that lived real lives. That means grass-fed beef, free-range chicken, naturally raised pork, wild-caught fish from open waters. Look for labels like grass-fed, pasture-raised, or wild-caught. These are strong signs of quality and balance. 2. Avoid meat from industrial farms. Factory-farmed meat often contains unbalanced fats, too much omega-6, antibiotics, and growth hormones, hidden triggers of inflammation, fatigue, and high blood pressure. If you don't know where it came from, skip it. 3. Limit processed meats as much as possible. Sausages, cold cuts, deli meat, canned meats, fried chicken, meatballs, marinated meats. These products often contain artificial colors and preservatives, soy fillers, sugar, and low-grade industrial oils. They don't just promote inflammation. They disrupt hormones, digestion, memory, and long-term well-being. 4. Cook meat as naturally as possible. Grill lightly, steam, boil, or stir-fry gently. Pair with greens, olive oil, or avocado to balance the fats. Avoid deep frying, charring, added sugars, or heavy sauces. How you cook affects at least 50% of the health value of your meal. 5. Eat less but eat better. You don't need to eat meat every meal, or even every day. But when you do, choose quality, choose clean, choose real. A small piece of grass-fed beef is worth more than a plate of deep-fried chicken soaked in recycled oil. Final takeaway: your health isn't hidden in a pill. It's shaped by the meat you choose every day. Don't be fooled by color. Don't be misled by marketing. Meat isn't the enemy. When chosen well, meat can be medicine, helping you walk with ease, sleep more deeply, remember more clearly, and live with joy. If you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss our weekly content on senior nutrition and wellness. Every week, I'll be sharing anti-inflammatory foods that support your brain and heart, simple exercises to ease joint pain, small daily habits that promote restful sleep and vibrant health after 60. And leave a comment below. What kind of meat do you eat most often? After watching this, are you thinking of making a change? I read every word you write, and I'd love to hear your story.